There are some journeys that whisper to you for years, a gentle but persistent call from a distant corner of the globe. For me, that call echoed from the vast golden plains of Kenya's Masai Mara. It wasn't just a holiday destination. It was a pilgrimage, a chance to witness the world as it once was, raw and untamed. The very name Masai Mara conjures images of sweeping grasslands, acacia trees silhouetted against a fiery sunset, and the deep guttural roar of a lion piercing the night. This was a trip of a lifetime, a promise my wife and I made to ourselves to step away from the noise of modern life and immerse ourselves completely in the heart of the wild. We were ready to answer that call. We arrived with a sense of profound excitement and, I must admit, a touch of nervous anticipation. The idea was to disconnect entirely. No internet, no television, just the unfiltered reality of the African bush. We were seeking an experience, not just a series of photo opportunities. We wanted to understand why this place holds such a legendary status among travelers and wildlife enthusiasts. From the moment our small plane touched down on a dusty airstrip, we knew we had arrived somewhere truly special. The air itself felt different, charged with a primal energy that you simply don't find anywhere else. It was the beginning of an adventure that would fundamentally reshape our understanding of the natural world. The purpose of our journey was simple: to live for a brief time among the giants of this land. We wanted to see the Big Five, of course, but more than that, we wanted to understand their world, to be a silent observer in their kingdom, to feel the rhythm of their daily lives, and to witness the unscripted drama that unfolds every single moment on the savannah. It's a place that promises a reality check, a powerful reminder that this planet doesn't belong to us alone. We were trading our comfortable, predictable routines for a world governed by the ancient laws of nature, and we couldn't have been more ready for the transformation. Our anticipation was particularly focused on the lions. These magnificent cats are the undisputed rulers of the Mara, and the prospect of seeing them up close in their own habitat was a powerful draw. We had heard stories of vehicles being treated as nothing more than moving bushes, with lions passing so close you could almost hear them breathe. The thought was both thrilling and humbling. We were stepping into their home, and for the next 24 hours we would be living by their rules, waking with the sun and sleeping to the sound of their roars. The adventure had truly begun, and the wild heart of Africa was beating all around us. The sheer scale of the Masai Mara is something that is impossible to comprehend from a photograph or a documentary. It is a kingdom without fences, an endless ocean of grass that stretches to a horizon that seems to shimmer and bend under the vast African sky. You can drive for hours, feeling the rumble of the 4x4 beneath you, and cover only a tiny fraction of this immense reserve. The landscape is a character in its own right, constantly changing and revealing new secrets. One moment you are in open grassland dotted with grazing wildebeest, the next you are navigating a dense thicket of acacia trees, their thorny branches reaching out like gnarled fingers. It feels ancient, powerful, and utterly wild. The weather in the Mara is as dramatic and unpredictable as the wildlife. During one of our drives, the sky, which had been a brilliant cloudless blue, suddenly turned a menacing shade of grey. Within minutes, the temperature dropped, and we were caught in a ferocious hailstorm. Icy stones, whipped by a powerful wind, hammered against our vehicle, some even blowing inside through the open sides. It was a sudden, violent display of nature's power. Yet, just as quickly as it arrived, the storm passed. The sun broke through, bathing the landscape in a golden light and leaving behind a world washed clean, sparkling, and breathtakingly beautiful. Among the endless plains, certain landmarks stand as silent witnesses to the passage of time. Our guide pointed out a colossal tree, its branches sprawling wide enough to shelter 200 people. He told us it was over a century old, a sacred place where community elders would gather to make important decisions, its shade a natural courthouse and a community hall. Standing beneath it, you could almost feel the weight of history, the countless stories and debates that had unfolded under its protective canopy. It was a living monument, a connection to the human and natural history of this incredible land, reminding us that we were treading on hallowed ground. This sprawling environment dictates the lives of everything within it. The recent rains, which brought the dramatic hailstorm, had also turned the rich red earth into a thick, sticky mud. This presented its own set of challenges, and we quickly learned that getting stuck was a very real possibility. In fact, we came across another safari vehicle hopelessly mired in the mud. Teamwork is essential out here, and without hesitation, our driver maneuvered our vehicle to help pull them free. It was a small moment, but it perfectly encapsulated the spirit of the Mara, a place of immense beauty and occasional peril, where survival often depends on cooperation and a willingness to lend a hand. The lions were the main event, the undisputed superstars of the Masai Mara, and they did not disappoint. Our first major sighting was a moment etched forever in my memory. We rounded a bend, and there they were, a magnificent pride of 8 or 10 lions, lounging in the morning sun as if they owned the entire world, which, in a very real sense, they do. They were utterly majestic, their golden coats blending seamlessly with the dry grass, their powerful bodies relaxed, but radiating an aura of latent strength. We sat in silence, our vehicle just meters away, simply drinking in the sight of these incredible predators in their natural element. On another occasion, our guide expertly positioned our vehicle near a patch of shade, and we waited. Soon our patience was rewarded in the most spectacular way. 4 fully grown male lions, brothers with magnificent dark manes, emerged from the bush and ambled directly towards us. One of them, seeking refuge from the strengthening sun, walked so close to our vehicle that it almost brushed against the side. My heart was pounding in my chest. He lay down in the shade cast by our 4x4, his massive head mere feet from where I sat. It was an intimate, breathtaking encounter, a moment of pure, unadulterated awe at the sheer power and nonchalant grace of this king of beasts. The guides explain that the lions have become habituated to the presence of safari vehicles. They don't see us as a threat or as prey. To them, we are simply part of the landscape, like strange, noisy, moving bushes. This allows for an unparalleled opportunity to observe their natural behavior without disturbing them. You see the tender moments between a lioness and her cubs, the subtle social dynamics of the pride, and the lazy, contented sleep of a well-fed male. It is a privilege to be granted such an intimate window into their world, to be an invisible guest at the royal court of the animal kingdom. Even when you can't see them, you can feel their presence. The most hauntingly beautiful experience came after nightfall, back at our camp with only the canvas walls of our tent separating us from the wild. The darkness came alive with sound. We heard it then, the deep, resonant roar of a lion, a sound that doesn't just enter your ears, but vibrates through your entire body, settling deep in your soul. It's a sound of raw power and territorial proclamation, a reminder that while we were safe in our beds, the real rulers of the Mara were out there, patrolling their vast domain under a blanket of stars. The circle of life in the Masai Mara is raw, unfiltered, and often brutal. One of the most unforgettable moments of our entire trip was not a scene of gentle beauty, but one of visceral, primal drama. Our guide received a crackled message over the radio, and with a knowing glance, turned our vehicle and sped across the plains. We arrived to find the aftermath of a hunt. A huge Cape buffalo, one of the most formidable animals in Africa, lay dead on the ground, and all around it was a chaotic, snarling, feeding frenzy. It was a once-in-a-lifetime sight, a live-action nature documentary unfolding right before our very eyes. The victors of the hunt, a large pride of about a dozen lions, were tearing into the carcass with ferocious intensity, The sounds were incredible and something I'll never forget. The tearing of flesh, the deep growls of possession, and the horrifying audible crunch of massive bones being broken by powerful jaws. It was a sensory overload. You could smell the coppery tang of blood in the air. Despite the gore, there was a strange sort of magnificence to it all. This was not cruelty, it was survival. This single kill would sustain the entire pride, from the dominant males to the smallest cubs, for days to come. But the lions were not alone. Lurking at the edges of the chaos was a rival gang, a pack of about 15 hyenas, their shoulders hunched and their eerie whooping calls cutting through the air. They were waiting patiently and impatiently for their chance to steal a piece of the prize. The tension between the two groups of predators was palpable. Every so often a bold hyena would try to dart in, only to be met with a terrifying snarling charge from a lioness defending her family's meal. It was a high-stakes standoff, a power struggle between the age-old enemies of the African plains. Watching this scene, you gain a profound respect for the harsh realities of this world. There is no room for sentimentality. Life is a constant struggle for existence, and death provides life for others. My wife, who is admittedly fearful of most animals, was completely captivated, watching in a state of shocked silence. It's one thing to see such events on television, but to be there, to hear the sounds and smell the air, is to understand the food chain in a way that is both terrifying and deeply humbling. It was a powerful lesson in the unvarnished truth of nature. Life on safari is dictated by the animals, and that means early starts. The alarm would go off at 4:30 in the morning, pulling us from a deep sleep into the chilly pre-dawn darkness. By 5:30, we would be bundled into our open-sided vehicle, wrapped in multiple layers of clothing to ward off the surprising cold of the African morning. The world is quiet and still at this hour, bathed in a soft, ethereal light. This is the golden hour for wildlife, the time when predators are often still active after a night of hunting, and the plains begin to stir with life. The discomfort of the early start is instantly forgotten as you set off, filled with anticipation for what the new day will reveal. One of the most uniquely wonderful aspects of the safari experience is dining in the heart of the wilderness. Our breakfast wasn't served in a stuffy hotel dining room, but in the open savannah, with a simple table and chairs set up under the vast sky. We'd sip hot coffee and eat our meal while watching a herd of zebras graze peacefully in the distance. Even lunch was an alfresco affair, sometimes enjoyed in close proximity to where we had just been watching lions. There's a certain thrill to eating your sandwich while knowing that the kings of the jungle are having their own lunch just a few hundred meters away. The journey itself is as much a part of the adventure as the destination. The terrain is rugged and the ride is often bumpy, a constant reminder that you are far from paved roads and civilization. Our driver navigated the muddy tracks and river crossings with incredible skill, his deep knowledge of the land evident in every turn of the wheel. We learned to read the landscape alongside him, spotting the flick of an ear in the tall grass or the distant shape of a giraffe on the horizon. Each drive was a voyage of discovery, a slow unraveling of the secrets held by the plains. This immersive routine quickly becomes a comfortable rhythm. You wake with the sun, you explore, you eat, you watch, and you learn. You become attuned to the subtle shifts in the environment, the changing light, the direction of the wind, the alarm calls of birds that signal a nearby predator. The safari strips away the complexities of modern life and reconnects you to a more fundamental, primal schedule. It's a physically and emotionally engaging experience that leaves you feeling more alive, more present, and more connected to the world around you than you ever thought possible. It's a simple life, but an incredibly rich one. An adventure in the Masai Mara is only as good as your guide, and we were fortunate enough to have one of the very best. These individuals are more than just drivers. They're naturalists, translators, historians, and mechanics, all rolled into one. Their knowledge of the ecosystem is encyclopedic, born from a lifetime spent living and working in the bush. Our guide could identify a bird from a fleeting flash of color, interpret the meaning of a distant animal call, and read the story of the previous night's events from a set of tracks in the dust. His passion for the wildlife was honestly infectious, and his ability to spot animals that were perfectly camouflaged was, well, nothing short of miraculous. A crucial element of a successful safari is the constant, crackling communication that happens over the vehicle's two-way radio. The guides aren't in competition with each other. They're a team, a collective of eyes and ears spread across the vast reserve. When one guide spots something special, a leopard lounging in a tree, a rare black rhino, or the beginnings of a river crossing, the call goes out. A stream of quiet, coded chatter in Swahili fills the air, and suddenly your driver is turning the vehicle with a sense of purpose, heading towards a new, unseen spectacle. This cooperative network ensures that everyone has the best possible chance of witnessing the Mara's magic. The skill and expertise of the guides extend far beyond just finding animals. They understand animal behavior with an intimacy that allows for incredibly close and safe encounters. They know how close to approach a herd of elephants without causing distress, and they can anticipate a lion's path, positioning the vehicle perfectly for photographs without ever being intrusive. We felt completely safe in their hands, even when a massive bull elephant mock-charged the vehicle or when a lioness used our car for shade. This deep respect for the animals is paramount. The guides are a vital part of the conservation effort, acting as guardians who protect the wildlife while sharing it with the world. Our trip was a testament to the importance of choosing a reputable company with experienced local guides. They are the gatekeepers to this incredible world, the storytellers who bring the landscape to life. We used a company called WBB Africa, and although our trip wasn't sponsored, their service was so exceptional it deserves a mention. The guide's deep connection to his homeland, his patience in answering our endless questions, and his genuine joy in sharing its wonders with us transformed our trip from a simple holiday into a profound and educational experience. Without him, we would have seen a beautiful landscape. With him, we saw its soul. No trip to the Masai Mara is complete without connecting with the people who gave the land its name, the Maasai. We took a detour from our wildlife drives to visit a local village, and it was like stepping into another world, a world governed by ancient traditions and a deep connection to the land. We were welcomed with incredible warmth and a vibrant jumping dance performed by the men of the village. Our first lesson in Maasai culture was a demonstration of their traditional method of making fire. Using nothing more than 2 pieces of wood, some dried elephant dung for tinder, and a great deal of friction and skill, one of the men coaxed a flame into existence in a matter of minutes. It was a mesmerizing display of ancient survival skills. We were invited to learn about their fascinating and complex social structures, particularly their customs around marriage. We learned that a man's first wife is often chosen for him by his friends, a decision based on community and family ties. After that, his first wife plays a key role in helping him choose any subsequent wives. Polygamy is a part of their culture, but it comes with great responsibility. For each wife a man has, he must build a separate house and provide for her and her children. Our guide, a young Maasai man, explained with a smile that he had one wife but was working hard to acquire more cows, the traditional currency, so he could perhaps afford a second. We were then given a tour of their homes, which are simple, remarkable structures built by the women from a mixture of mud, sticks, and cow dung. Inside, the space is small and dark, with the smoke from the central fire pit filling the air. The beds are simple platforms made of wood and covered with animal hides. It is a humble existence, a stark contrast to the modern world, yet there is a powerful sense of community and contentment. We were struck by their resilience and ingenuity, their ability to create a life of meaning and structure with so little in the way of material possessions. It was a powerful lesson in what is truly necessary for a happy life. The Maasai have a unique philosophy on life and emotion. We were told that showing fear or crying out in pain is considered a sign of cowardice, a trait discouraged from a very young age. This stoicism is forged by the harsh realities of their environment, where courage and resilience are essential for survival. This visit was more than just a tourist stop, it was a genuine cultural exchange. It provided a deeper context for the land we were exploring, reminding us that this wilderness is not just a park for animals, but is also the ancestral home of a proud and fascinating people, whose culture is as much a part of the Mara's identity as the lions themselves. After the cultural tour, we were led to the village market, a bustling, colourful space where the Maasai women sell their handmade crafts. This is where the calm, stoic demeanour we had witnessed gave way to a spirited and energetic display of commerce. The market is a vibrant explosion of red shukas, intricate beadwork, carved wooden animals, and handmade jewellery. We were immediately surrounded by friendly but determined salespeople, each eager to show us their wares. It was clear from the outset that this was not a place of fixed prices. This was a theatre of negotiation, and the performance was about to begin. The initial prices quoted are, to put it mildly, optimistic. A small, simple keychain might be offered for the equivalent of £4 or £5, while a beautiful beaded necklace could be presented with an opening price of over £25. This is a well-practiced strategy targeting tourists who are often unaccustomed to haggling and may pay the first price asked. The vendors are masters of their craft, both in creating the items and in selling them. They often work as a team, sometimes separating members of a tourist group to prevent them from comparing notes and coordinating their bargaining tactics. It's a clever and effective system. Bargaining is not just expected, it's an essential part of the interaction, a game with its own set of unwritten rules. It requires a friendly demeanour, a sense of humour, and a good deal of patience. You make a counter-offer, usually a fraction of the asking price, and the dance begins. There's a theatrical sigh from the seller, a story about how long it took to make the item, and a new, slightly lower price. You, in turn, express your admiration for the piece, but explain your limited budget. It's a friendly back and forth, a form of social engagement as much as a financial transaction. If you embrace the spirit of it, it can be a lot of fun. In the end, we walked away with several beautiful souvenirs. A beaded bracelet, a small wooden giraffe, and a colourful necklace. Did we get the local price? Almost certainly not. But we paid a price we were happy with, for items that were handmade with skill and care. More importantly, we knew the money was going directly to the community and supporting their traditional way of life. The experience was a lesson in itself, a lively and memorable encounter with the economic realities of a culture so different from our own. The key is to bargain with a smile and to remember that the interaction is as valuable as the item you take home. As our time in the Masai Mara drew to a close, I was struck by a profound and humbling realization. This journey had been a powerful reality check. We as humans often move through the world with an unconscious sense of ownership, as if the planet were created solely for our convenience. But here, in the vastness of the African bush, that illusion is completely shattered. You are not the master of this domain, you are not even a permanent resident. You are a guest, a temporary visitor in a kingdom that belongs to the elephants, the giraffes, the wildebeest, and above all, the lions. It's their world. We are just passing through. There is an indescribable beauty in seeing animals in their natural habitat, completely free and untethered. It's a world away from the sad, confined experience of a zoo. To watch a giraffe elegantly strip leaves from a tall acacia, to see a hippo emerge from a river with a great snorting yawn, or to witness a cheetah surveying the plains from a termite mound, is to see life as it is meant to be lived. This is not an artificial enclosure. It is a functioning, breathing ecosystem where every creature plays a vital role. You feel a deep sense of privilege to be allowed a glimpse into this ancient and perfect system. The trip also highlighted the critical role the Masai Mara plays in a wider context. We learned from our guide that the reserve has become a sought-after location for international filmmakers, with parts of major blockbusters being filmed right there on the plains. This global attention brings investment and a spotlight on the importance of conserving this unique environment. It reinforces the idea that the Mara is a global treasure, a piece of shared natural heritage that must be protected not just for the animals who live there, but for the inspiration and wonder it provides to all of humanity. It is a living, breathing movie set where the drama is real and the actors are wild. If you have the means and the opportunity, I cannot recommend a journey like this highly enough. It is more than a holiday, it is an education and an awakening. It recalibrates your perspective, reminding you of your own small place in a vast and magnificent world. It teaches you respect for the power of nature and for the other incredible species with whom we share this planet. You leave the Masai Mara a different person than when you arrived, carrying with you not just photographs and souvenirs, but a renewed sense of wonder and a powerful understanding that we are all part of one extraordinary wild world.